Dr. Alan West rubbed his tired eyes as he stared at the data streaming across his monitor. 3 days without proper sleep had left him exhausted, but he couldn't pull himself away. Something in the signal pattern from beyond the Orc cloud kept nagging at him. "You should get some rest," said Olivia Martinez, sliding a cup of coffee across the desk. "I will soon," Alan replied, not looking up. "There's something here, Olivia. These patterns aren't random." The Deep Space Observatory hummed quietly around them. Most of the staff had gone home hours ago, leaving the two scientists alone with a massive array of equipment designed to listen to the cosmos. Olivia peered over Alan's shoulder. "What exactly are we looking at?" "That's just it," Alan said, pointing to a sequence. "These pulses, they're too regular. Natural phenomena don't behave like this." He clicked through several screens of data. "And look at the mathematical progression. It's a sequence, like someone's counting." Olivia's eyes widened. "Are you saying this is artificial? A message?" Alan nodded slowly. "I think we're being contacted." They worked through the night, applying various decoding algorithms to the signal. By morning, they had extracted fragments that seemed to form coherent patterns. "We need to call Director Collins," Olivia said, her voice hushed with awe. Within hours, Natalie Collins arrived with a team of government officials. The observatory conference room filled with serious faces as Alan presented his findings. "The signal contains mathematical sequences that couldn't occur naturally," he explained, "and we've managed to decode parts of it using basic translation matrices." Director Collins leaned forward. "And what does it say?" Alan hesitated. "It's a warning. Something called the Void is spreading through the galaxy. It's destroyed multiple star systems already." "Is this some kind of joke?" asked one of the officials. "I assure you, it's not," Alan replied firmly. "The message includes specific coordinates of destroyed systems. We can verify those with our telescopes." "Who sent this warning?" Collins asked. "They call themselves the Sarians. According to what we've decoded, they're part of some sort of galactic community, and they've been watching Earth for some time." The room fell silent as the implications sank in. "We're not alone," Olivia whispered. Collins stood up. "This information doesn't leave this room. Not until we have confirmation and a response plan." Alan frowned. "The public has a right to know." "The public would panic," Collins interrupted. "We need time to verify and prepare. Your team will continue working on the message, but under security protocols." Over the next week, Alan and Olivia worked around the clock to decode more of the message. What they found only deepened their concern. "The Void isn't just destroying stars," Alan told Collins during their daily briefing. "It's consuming them, growing, and according to the Sarians, it's heading in our direction." "How long do we have?" Collins asked. "Years, maybe decades, but the Sarians believe we might be able to help." "Us? How?" Alan shook his head. "They don't say exactly, just that Earth has some unique properties that might be important in stopping this thing." Collins nodded thoughtfully. "We need to respond, arrange a meeting." "I've already prepared a reply signal," Alan said. "We can send it whenever you're ready." That night, alone in his office, Alan stared out the window at the stars. Somewhere out there, other beings were looking back, waiting for humanity's answer. He wondered if he'd done the right thing by keeping this secret from the world. The signal had changed everything. Humanity was no longer alone in the universe, but their first contact had come with a terrible burden. Whatever this void was, Earth was now part of the fight against it. "I hope we're ready," he whispered to the stars. The horizon floated silently at the coordinates provided by the Sarians. Captain Samuel Hayes stood on the bridge, hands clasped behind his back, watching the endless expanse of stars through the main viewport. "Any sign of them?" he asked. Darren Grant, the science officer, shook his head. "Nothing yet, Captain. But we're exactly where they told us to be." The past 6 months have been a whirlwind since Earth received the alien message. World leaders had come together in secret to form an international space coalition. The Horizon, Earth's most advanced ship, had been retrofitted with experimental engines capable of reaching the meeting point in deep space. "How are the communication protocols coming along?" Samuel asked. "Ready to go," Darren replied. "Based on the language samples they sent, we should be able to establish basic communication." Kelly Brooks entered the bridge, wiping grease from her hands. The chief engineer had been working nonstop to keep the modified engines running. "Captain, we've got a problem with the coolant system on Deck 3, she reported. "I've got a team working on it, but we need to be careful with our power usage." Samuel nodded. "Do what you can, Brooks. We need to be ready when—" "Captain," interrupted the sensor operator. "Something's happening." The space in front of them seemed to ripple, like heat waves rising from hot pavement. Then, as if stepping through an invisible door, a ship appeared. It was unlike anything humans had designed. Smooth, with no visible engines or windows, glowing with a soft blue light. It was at least 3 times the size of Horizon. "My God," whispered Kelly. Samuel straightened his uniform. "Open a channel. All frequencies." The bridge crew watched in tense silence as the alien vessel approached. Then a voice came through their speakers, slightly mechanical but understandable. "Greetings, humans of Earth. We are the Sirians. We welcome you to the greater galaxy." 2 hours later, Samuel sat at a table in the Horizon's conference room across from 3 Sirian representatives. They were humanoid, but with pale blue skin and large dark eyes. The Sirian leader, who called herself Ilara, was explaining their situation. "The Void has consumed 12 star systems in the past cycle," she said. "The Galactic Council has been unable to stop its advance." "What exactly is this Void?" Samuel asked. "An ancient entity," Ilara replied. "It feeds on energy, stars, technology, even life itself. It grows stronger with each system it consumes." Darren leaned forward. "And you think Earth can help somehow?" "Your planet has something unique," said another Sirian named Toran. "Elements in your core that don't exist elsewhere in known space. Our scientists believe they might be key to stopping the Void. That's why we contacted you." Ilara continued. "But there's something else you should know. Not everyone on the Council agrees with our decision to involve Earth." Samuel frowned. "What do you mean?" "By contacting you, we've drawn you into an interstellar conflict. Some believe Earth is too primitive to join the galactic community. Others fear humans might be more dangerous than the Void itself." "Dangerous? We just want to help," Kelly said. Ilara's expression was solemn. "Your species has a reputation, Captain Hayes. Your history is filled with war, yet you've survived and advanced rapidly. Some council members find that concerning." Samuel considered this. "So what happens now?" "We invite you to the council headquarters," Ilara said. "You will represent Earth. But be warned, not everyone will welcome you." Later, as the Horizon prepared to follow the Sirian ship through what they called a fold gate, Samuel stood alone in his quarters, contemplating what lay ahead. Humanity had dreamed of first contact for centuries. Now it had happened, but instead of celebration, they were being pulled into a war they didn't understand, fighting an enemy they couldn't comprehend. "Well," he murmured to himself, "no one said this would be easy." The Galactic Council headquarters was built inside a massive asteroid, hollowed out and transformed into a sprawling complex of chambers and corridors. Ambassador Eric Peterson struggled to maintain his composure as he followed Ilara through the main hall. Dozens of alien species moved about, some resembling Earth creatures, others defying description entirely. "How many species are represented here?" Eric asked. 47 with full council status," Ilara replied. "Another 32 have observer status. Earth would be the newest observer, if accepted." They entered a large circular chamber with tiered seating. In the center stood a platform surrounded by glowing screens. Representatives from various worlds occupied the seats, their quiet conversations stopping as the humans entered. "Stay close," Ilara whispered. "Some may be hostile." Lisa Warren, the Horizon's security officer, scanned the room with professional caution. She noted several delegates making gestures toward the humans that seemed dismissive or angry. A tall, thin alien with gray skin and 4 arms stood up. "Ilara of Seria, you bring humans before the Council without authorization. This violates protocol. The emergency justifies it." Council leader Vax. Ilara replied calmly. "Earth must be involved if we hope to stop the void." Murmurs spread through the chamber. "Let them speak," said another alien, this one resembling a large reptile. "I am curious what these newcomers think they can offer." Eric stepped forward as they had rehearsed. "Thank you for receiving us. We come seeking understanding and offering assistance against a common threat." "What could your primitive species possibly offer?" sneered a delegate with metallic skin. "You've barely left your own solar system. Perhaps that's precisely why we might see solutions others have missed," Eric replied evenly. "Fresh perspectives have value." While Eric engaged the council, Lisa slipped away as planned. Using a device Ilara had provided, she accessed the council's information network. What she found disturbed her deeply. When the official session ended, the Earth delegation retreated to private quarters. Lisa shared her discoveries. "The Council has known about the void for centuries," she said, displaying the data she'd retrieved. "They've been containing it, not trying to destroy it." "Containing it?" Darren asked incredulously. "Why?" "Some factions believe the void is sacred," Lisa explained. "They call themselves void embracers. They think it's some kind of cosmic cleanser, removing the unworthy." Samuel paced the room. "So the council is divided." "Worse than that," Lisa continued. "The embracers have infiltrated high positions. They're deliberately blocking effective action." Eric frowned. No wonder our suggestions were dismissed so quickly. Earlier, they had proposed using Earth's unique elements to create a resonance weapon that might disrupt the void's energy absorption pattern. The council had barely listened before rejecting the idea. "What now?" Darren asked. Samuel looked at each of them. "We need allies within the council. Species who are actually trying to fight this thing." A soft chime interrupted them. Ilara entered with Toran, both looking concerned. "We heard your session went poorly," Ilara said. "We learned the council isn't united against the void," Samuel replied. "Some seem to worship it." Toran nodded grimly. "The embracers. Their influence grows as the void expands." "Is there anyone here we can trust?" Eric asked. Ilara and Toran exchanged glances. "Not within the council," Ilara admitted. "But there are others, species who have broken away, formed their own alliance." "Rebels?" Lisa asked. "Freedom fighters," Toran corrected. "Those who refuse to accept the council's inaction." Samuel stood up. "Can you connect us with them?" "It would mean defying the council," Ilara warned. "You would be labeled renegades." Eric looked to Samuel, who nodded. "Earth didn't come this far to sit by while bureaucracy lets the galaxy die," Eric said. "Take us to these rebels." Ilara seemed relieved. "We leave tonight. The council won't be pleased." "They're not pleased with us already," Samuel replied with a grim smile. "Might as well give them a real reason." The Veraki homeworld orbited a dim red star at the edge of what the council called restricted space. Captain Hayes stood on the bridge of the horizon as Jack Miller guided the ship through a dense asteroid field that served as a natural barrier. "This is insane," Jack muttered, his hands dancing across the controls. "Who builds their headquarters in this mess?" "Someone who doesn't want visitors," Samuel replied. "Nice flying, Miller." Jack nodded grimly, focusing on navigating the treacherous path Ilara had provided. Behind them, 2 Sarian ships followed in their wake. Michelle Thompson worked at the communications station, adjusting frequencies based on Toran's instructions. "Captain, I'm picking up signals." "They're scanning us." Send the recognition codes, Samuel ordered. Tension filled the bridge as they waited. Finally, a response came through. A series of coordinates leading to a large asteroid nearly twice the size of the others. As they approached, part of the asteroid's surface shimmered and revealed a hidden docking bay. The horizon glided inside, settling next to several alien vessels of various designs. Quite the collection, Samuel remarked. A group of aliens waited as the Earth delegation disembarked. Most striking among them were the Varaki, tall, slender beings with luminous skin that shifted colors like oil on water. Their leader stepped forward. "I am Zorn," he said, his voice melodic. "Welcome to the last free alliance in this sector." The meeting chamber inside the asteroid was crude compared to the Council headquarters, but filled with advanced technology. Representatives from 7 species gathered around a holographic display showing star systems and the void's progression. "The Council has been compromised for decades," Zorn explained. "The Void Cult has placed operatives in key positions, blocking any meaningful defense." "Why doesn't the Council just destroy this cult?" Michelle asked. A Varaki female named Vela laughed bitterly. "Because half the Council leadership belongs to it. They believe the void is divine judgment, cleansing the unworthy from the galaxy." "And the other half?" Samuel asked. "Too afraid or too corrupt to act," Zorn replied. "Many profit from the chaos as displaced species flee the void's path." Darren studied the holographic map. "According to this, the void will reach Earth's sector within 50 years. Likely sooner," Zorn corrected. "Its expansion rate increases with each system it consumes." Samuel frowned. "What's your plan to stop it?" "That's why we wanted to meet you," Zorn said. "We've been studying Earth since the Sarians first detected your unusual elemental composition." He manipulated the display, showing Earth's core. "This element your scientists call thorium X doesn't exist naturally elsewhere in our galaxy. Its energy signature is remarkably similar to the void's, but inverted. Like matter and antimatter," Darren suggested. "Precisely," Vela agreed. "We believe a weapon using this element could disrupt the void structure." Jack, who had been quiet until now, spoke up. "If this element is so special, why isn't the Council trying to get it?" "The Embracers have been blocking all research related to Earth," Ilara explained. "That's why we contacted you secretly." Samuel paced around the holographic display. "So you need our help to build this weapon?" "More than that," Zorn said. "We need Earth itself. Your world's unique properties might be the key to stopping the void permanently." The humans exchanged glances. This was bigger than they had imagined. "The Council won't just let us walk away," Lisa pointed out. "No," Zorn agreed. "Which is why we're building an alliance of independent worlds, species who refuse to bow to the Council's inaction." Samuel nodded slowly. Earth would be interested in such an alliance. "It won't be easy," Zorn warned. "The Council controls most major supply routes and military installations." "Nothing worth doing ever is," Samuel replied. "Let's get started." As the meeting continued into the night, plans were made, information shared, and a new hope began to form. A coalition determined to save the galaxy, with humanity at its center. Grace Wilson moved silently through the dimly lit corridor of the Varaki base, her medical scanner disguised as she tracked an unusual energy signature. For weeks, she had noticed small discrepancies in the communications logs. Messages sent during quiet hours. Equipment moved without authorization. Someone was leaking information. The signature led her to a maintenance room, where she found Paul Cooper hunched over a modified transmitter. He didn't notice her until she spoke. "I had hoped I was wrong about you," Grace said quietly. Paul spun around, his face paling. "Grace, I was just running diagnostics on." "Save it," she interrupted. "That's a Council Tech transmitter. You've been sending information to them." His expression hardened. "You don't understand what's happening here. The Council isn't our enemy. These rebels are playing with forces they don't comprehend. And the void, is that not worth fighting?" The void is inevitable, Paul replied. The Council has a plan to contain it, direct it. Working with these renegades will only make things worse. Before Grace could respond, alarms blared throughout the base. Paul smiled grimly. Too late. They're already here. The attack came with frightening speed. Council forces breached the asteroid's outer defenses using access codes Paul had provided. Emergency lights flashed as crew members raced to battle stations. Samuel's voice came over the comms. All personnel to evacuation points. This is not a drill. Grace tried to restrain Paul, but he struck her with a hidden weapon. As she fell, dazed, he fled the room. In the main hangar, chaos reigned. Council troops in sleek armor exchanged fire with Viraki defenders. Samuel coordinated the evacuation, directing crews to the ships. "Where's Ryan?" he shouted as Lisa ran past. He was in the South Laboratory with the Viraki scientists. She called back. A massive explosion rocked the base. Over the comms, they heard Ryan Campbell's voice. "Captain, they've breached the lab. They're taking the prototypes." Then silence. "Ryan, come in," Samuel tried again, but received no response. Across the hangar, Amy Rodriguez worked frantically to download research data as the battle raged around her. The young scientist had been leading the weapon development team, combining Earth's thorium X with Viraki energy technology. "Amy, we need to go now," Darren shouted, providing cover fire. "Almost done," she replied, fingers flying over the console. "We can't lose this data. It's the only copy of the final weapon design." A Council soldier spotted them and fired. Darren shoved Amy down as energy bolts sizzled overhead. Zorn appeared from nowhere, his skin flashing angry red as he dispatched the attacker with a Viraki energy blade. "Your ship is ready," Zorn told them. "We will hold them off." Samuel gathered the surviving crew near the horizon. The roster was alarmingly short. "Ryan's team is missing," he reported grimly, along with at least 5 others, and Paul Cooper is confirmed as the traitor. "They've taken all our thorium X samples," Amy added, "but I saved the weapon schematics. We can rebuild if we can get more material from Earth." Samuel faced an impossible choice. "We need to get Amy and the plans to safety. That weapon is our only hope." "We can't abandon our people," argued Lisa. "Ryan, the others. They're counting on us." The base shuddered as another explosion hit nearby. They had minutes, perhaps seconds. "We split up," Samuel decided. "Horizon gets Amy and the plans to safety. I'll take a team in one of the Sarian ships to find our missing people." "That's suicide," Darren protested. "Maybe, but I won't leave them behind." Samuel turned to his executive officer. "Kevin, you'll lead the rescue mission. Take Lisa and whoever volunteers. The rest go with Darren on Horizon." Kevin Martinez stepped forward without hesitation. "We'll find them, Captain." "I'm going with the rescue team," Lisa insisted. Diane Foster, weapons specialist, joined them. "Me too." As they prepared to separate, another blast rocked the hangar. Time had run out. "Go," Samuel ordered. "Meet at the secondary rendezvous in 3 days, if we're not there." The words hung unfinished as the crews raced to their ships. The future of humanity's stand against the void now split between escape and rescue. The Sarian ship Shadow Glider hung motionless in space, its stealth systems engaged to full capacity. Through the viewport, Kevin Martinez watched the imposing structure of the Council prison station. Somewhere inside were Ryan and the other captured crew members. "How are we looking?" he asked, turning to Diane Foster at the weapons console. "Viraki cloaking technology is holding," she replied, "but will be visible the moment we try to dock." Lisa Warren studied the station schematics provided by their Sarian allies. "There's a maintenance port on the lower level, used for drone repairs. It's small, but we could enter there." Kevin nodded. "That's our way in." The prison cells are likely in the central sector, heavily guarded. The rescue team consisted of just 6 people. Kevin, Lisa, and Diane from the Horizon, plus 2 Syrians and a Viraki engineer named Leth, whose color-changing skin would be invaluable for infiltration. Remember, Kevin said as they gathered for final preparations, "This is extraction only. We find our people and get out. No heroics." "What about Cooper?" Diane asked. "If we find the traitor." Kevin's expression hardened. "If we can take him, we will. He'll answer for what he did." They approached the station using minimal thrust, drifting the last kilometer to avoid detection. Leth attached their ship to the maintenance board using magnetic clamps, then began cutting through the outer hull with a Viraki energy tool that made almost no sound. "Atmosphere inside," Leth whispered as the tool broke through. No alarms triggered. One by one, they slipped into the station. The maintenance corridor was narrow and dimly lit, filled with repair drones in various states of assembly. Lisa consulted her scanner. Life signs concentrated 3 levels up. That must be the detention area. They moved silently through the station, avoiding patrols when possible, using Leth's camouflage abilities and Viraki's stun weapons when not. Each encounter left Kevin more anxious. They couldn't hide bodies forever, and discovery was inevitable. Meanwhile, on the horizon, Dr. Grant and his team worked frantically to construct the prototype weapon using the limited thorium X they had managed to salvage. The ship hid in the atmosphere of a gas giant, using the radiation storms as cover from Council scanners. "The energy matrix is stable," Amy reported, not looking up from her console, "but the focusing array keeps failing under the resonance pressure." Darren frowned at the holographic display showing the weapon's internal structure. "We need a more adaptive control system. The feedback loop is too rigid." "What about a neural interface?" suggested one of the Viraki scientists. "Your species has compatible brainwave patterns that could modulate the feedback in real time." "You mean someone would have to pilot this thing mentally?" Darren asked incredulously. "Not just pilot it," Amy realized, studying the equations. "They would have to bond with it, become part of the weapon." The implications hung heavy in the air. Such a connection would likely be fatal to the pilot. Back at the prison station, Kevin's team had reached the detention level. They crouched behind a storage container as guards passed. "Cell Block 3, Lisa whispered, pointing to a heavily secured door. "How many guards inside?" Kevin asked. Leth extended a sensor. 4 guards, 12 cells. I detect 7 human life signs." "That's all of them," Kevin said with relief. "Let's move." The ensuing fight was brief but violent. Diane led the charge, her lightning-fast combat training evident as she disabled 2 guards before they could sound an alarm. Leth and the Syrians handled the remaining guards while Kevin and Lisa freed the prisoners. Ryan was in the final cell, his face bruised but his spirit unbroken. "Took you long enough," he joked weakly as Lisa cut through his restraints. "The others?" Kevin asked urgently. "All alive," Ryan confirmed. "But they know about the weapon. They've been interrogating us about its specifications." As they hurried back toward their ship, an alarm finally blared through the station. "They've discovered the bodies," Diane reported. "We have minutes at most." Their escape route was cut off by a squad of Council security forces. With nowhere to run, the team took defensive positions behind cargo containers. "We didn't come this far to fail," Kevin said, checking his weapon. "Hold them off. We're getting everyone home." As the first energy bolts flew toward them, Kevin thought of the horizon and the weapon they were building. Humanity's last hope against the void. Whatever the cost, this mission had to succeed. The space around the gas giant Novus 7 shimmered as dozens of ships emerged from fold gates. Council vessels formed a defensive perimeter while Void cultist ships pushed forward toward the planet. On the opposite side, the Alliance fleet gathered, a ragtag collection of Viraki, Syrian, and other rebel vessels, with the horizon at their center. "They found us faster than expected," Samuel said, watching the tactical display on the bridge. "Doesn't matter now," Darren replied. The weapon is ready. After the successful rescue mission, the combined crews had worked tirelessly to complete the resonance weapon. It sat in the Horizon's main hangar, a sleek, pod-like craft built around a core of Earth's precious thorium X. All ships in position, Michelle reported from communications. The Alliance is ready to provide cover. Samuel nodded, then opened a ship-wide channel. All hands, this is the captain. Today we face not just the Council forces, but the Void itself. Our scientists have created a weapon that can stop it, but we need to get close enough to deploy it. In the hangar, Nicole Russell performed final checks on the weapon pod. As the neurological tests had shown, her brain patterns were most compatible with the interface. She would pilot the weapon directly into the Void's leading edge, which had been detected just beyond Novus 7. Neural link is green, she reported to Amy, who supervised the launch preparations. Resonance chamber stable. Amy couldn't meet her eyes. Nicole, there's still time to find another way. We both know there isn't, Nicole replied calmly. The calculations are clear. Someone has to guide it manually through the final approach. The first shots of battle flashed outside as Council ships engaged the Alliance fleet. The Horizon shuddered under enemy fire. Launch bay, we need that weapon now. Samuel's voice came through the comms. Nicole climbed into the pod, and the neural interface attached to her temples. Immediately, she felt the weapon become an extension of her body. Its energy her energy, its purpose her purpose. Tell them. Tell Earth we did our best, she said as the canopy sealed. The Horizon's bay doors opened, and Nicole launched into the chaotic battle. Alliance ships created a corridor through the fighting, allowing her to accelerate toward the swirling darkness beyond Novus 7. The Void was visible now, not just blackness, but a writhing, consuming absence that devoured light itself. On the Horizon's bridge, Samuel opened a broadcast channel to all ships in the sector. This is Captain Samuel Hayes of Earth. To all species of the galaxy, hear me. For too long, the Council has ignored the threat of the Void. For too long, they've allowed cultists to control policy while worlds die. Today, humanity shows there is another way. Nicole's pod approached the Void's edge. Council ships fired upon her, but Veraki interceptors took the hits instead, sacrificing themselves to ensure her path remained clear. Inside the pod, Nicole activated the resonance field. Pain shot through her body as the neural link pulled energy from her life force to stabilize the reaction. Through tear-filled eyes, she saw the Void looming before her, hungry, ancient, and seemingly unstoppable. Not today, she whispered, pushing the pod to maximum speed. The weapon entered the Void's outer boundary. Nicole screamed as the neural link burned white-hot in her mind, but she maintained control. The resonance field expanded, creating a disruptive wave that spread through the Void's structure like ripples in water. From the Horizon, they watched as the Void began to convulse. Its darkness fractured, showing glimpses of stars beyond. The disruption grew, feeding back on itself as Nicole guided the weapon deeper. It's working, Darren exclaimed. The Void's expansion halted, then reversed. Its edges collapsed inward as the resonance field created a cascading failure throughout its structure. Council ships stopped firing, their crews watching in awe as the ancient entity began to disintegrate. Samuel continued his broadcast. The galaxy stands at a crossroads. Earth offers this warning. We will not stand by while threats are ignored. We will not accept corruption or inaction when lives are at stake. Today, humanity proves we're not just another species to be dominated or dismissed. We are the galaxy's final hope. The battle ended as suddenly as it began. Council ships withdrew, their commanders stunned by the Void's defeat. Alliance vessels gathered around the Horizon, celebrating their impossible victory. In the space where the Void had been, a small pod drifted amid the stars. Inside, Nicole Russell lay still, her sacrifice ensuring that countless worlds would see another dawn. 5 years after the Void's destruction, Earth had transformed. Knowledge from across the galaxy flowed freely now, accelerating human development in ways no one could have imagined. Cities gleamed with new technologies, diseases once thought incurable vanished, and humanity prepared to spread beyond their solar system. Samuel Hayes stood in the memorial garden outside the new Galactic Embassy in Geneva. At its center stood a statue of Nicole Russell, her figure reaching toward the stars. The plaque simply read, "One life, countless worlds saved." "I still miss her," said a voice behind him. Samuel turned to see Darren approaching. His old science officer now headed Earth's Interstellar Research Division, overseeing the adaptation of alien technologies. "We all do," Samuel replied. "How's the new Fold Gate coming along?" "On schedule. 6 months until activation. Then we can travel to Veraki space without needing their ships to transport us." A gentle chime sounded from Samuel's communicator. "The council session is starting soon." They walked together through the embassy, a stunning blend of human and alien architecture. Delegates from 24 species moved through the halls, many nodding respectfully to Samuel. As Earth's senior representative to the reformed Galactic Council, he had become the face of humanity to the stars. The council chamber was smaller than the original one Samuel had visited years ago, designed for genuine discussion rather than intimidating pageantry. Zorn, now leading the Veraki delegation, greeted them warmly. "The former void sectors are showing remarkable recovery," he reported. 3 planets once thought dead have been successfully reseeded with life. "And the Embracers?" Samuel asked. "Still out there," Zorn admitted, "but their influence wanes as worlds see what cooperation has accomplished." The session began with reports from across the galaxy. Earth's approach to governance had changed everything. Transparency was now required, decisions made openly rather than through backroom dealings. After the meeting, Samuel returned to his office to find Lisa Warren waiting. Now in charge of Earth's security operations, she rarely visited the diplomatic wing without good reason. "We found Cooper," she said without preamble. Samuel's expression hardened. The traitor had escaped during the final battle, disappearing into the chaos of the collapsing council regime. "Where?" "A fringe colony in the Proxima system. He's gathered other former Embracers. They're experimenting with void energy." "Impossible," Samuel said. "The void was destroyed." "Not completely," Lisa replied grimly. "Nicole's weapon shattered it, but some fragments survived. Cooper believes they can be harnessed, controlled." Samuel sighed deeply. Peace never lasted, it seemed. "Assemble a team. Keep it quiet for now. I don't want to panic the Alliance." After Lisa left, Samuel walked to the window overlooking Lake Geneva. In the distance, a Sarian ship glided silently over the water, a reminder of how much had changed. His communicator chimed again. A message from Dr. Rodriguez. "Need to see you immediately. Found something in Nicole's data." 20 minutes later, Samuel stood in Amy's laboratory, staring at a holographic display of Nicole's neural patterns from the moment the weapon activated. "I've been studying this for months," Amy explained, excitement in her voice. "Nicole's consciousness didn't simply die when the weapon detonated. It was transformed, integrated into the resonance field itself." "What are you saying?" Samuel asked, hardly daring to hope. "I'm saying part of her still exists, scattered across the energy patterns where the void used to be, and I think we can bring her back." As Samuel struggled to process this information, an alert sounded throughout the building. Emergency lights flashed as security personnel rushed past the lab. "What's happening?" he demanded, activating his communicator. Darren's voice came through, tense and urgent. Multiple fold gates opening above major cities, ships of unknown design. They're broadcasting a message in every language. "What message?" The void was merely a herald. "We are the reckoning." Samuel looked back at Nicole's neural pattern, pulsing gently in the holographic display. Earth had faced one cosmic threat and emerged as the galaxy's protector. Now a new challenge appeared, testing humanity's resolve once more. "Prepare the Alliance ships," Samuel ordered. "And Amy, Find a way to bring Nicole back. We're going to need every advantage we can get." As alarms blared and the embassy mobilized for crisis, Samuel felt a strange calm. Earth's warning to the galaxy had been heard. They had proven themselves the final hope against darkness once. They would do so again.